Lamine Yamal, 19 years old. Today he's Spain's brightest star, the leader of the world's favorite team. But this kid is actually the son of an immigrant family. He grew up in Rocafonda, a poor immigrant neighborhood belonging to Mataró. That 304 sign he makes when he scores is the last 3 digits of that district's postal code. His father is Moroccan. His mother is Equator-Guinean. He had 3 national team doors in front of him. The real tug of war was with Morocco, who considered him one of their own for years and mobilized fully to win him over. According to what's been said, big offers were made to his father, and coach Regragui even went to Barcelona to convince him, but Spain made its move. Under FIFA's rule, if a player hasn't appeared in 3 official matches, he can still change countries. To close that window, Spain called Yamal up to the senior team while he was still a child and tied him down with an official match, taking him from Morocco's hands at the last moment. If that call had come a little late, that kid who won Euro 2024 could today be Morocco's number 10, under a completely different flag. The next name did something different. He used the country that wanted him and hid his real dream elsewhere. Raphinha, 30 years old. Today, he's one of Brazil's most important attacking weapons, at the peak of his career at Barcelona. But very few know this. This man carries an Italian passport, and at one point, Italy came knocking to call him up. He grew up in Restinga, one of Porto Alegre's toughest favelas. His Italian roots come from his father's side. The surname Bololi traces the family that migrated from Italy to Brazil. While rising in Europe, he used that passport not for the national team, but for a practical reason, to avoid the foreign player limit at European clubs and transfer more easily. It wasn't an identity, it was a tool. Then Italy stepped in. According to what's been said, Coach Mancini made him an official offer, telling him he could be the attacking leader of the Euro 2020 champion squad. Italy was struggling for goals, and Raphinha could have been a savior, but he clearly rejected them because he had only one dream: to wear the yellow shirt. He used Italy's passport for years, but when it came time to step onto the pitch, he turned his back on them and chose Brazil. Italy became the side that was used and left behind. The next name didn't keep anyone waiting. He directly rejected the offer at his door and turned toward his real. Michael Olise, 25 years old. Today, he's one of France's rising stars, one of the best wingers in the world at Bayern Munich. But this man's heritage is one of the most complicated files in modern football. Born in London, so he's English. His father is Nigerian, his mother a French woman of Algerian descent. He had 4 national teams in front of him: England, Nigeria, Algeria, France. Of these, Nigeria wanted him the most. In 2021, they officially called him up and put his name on a waiting list. But Olise's reaction was strange. He gave no response at all. He ignored the call and basically left Nigeria on scene. This coldness is part of his character. Off the pitch too, he's known as a quiet, distant, calculating man. Even England got tired of his indecisive attitude and didn't make him a big invitation. In the end, France stepped in. According to what's been said, Thierry Henry's persistent pursuit convinced him. The interesting thing is, of his 4 options, France was the one he had the most indirect connection to, but he chose the strongest team. Nigeria chased him for years. Algeria wanted him, but he sat down and chose the strongest flag. This wasn't an emotional decision. It was a cold chess move. The next name, when making his decision, faced off not against a country, but against his own brother. Désiré Doué, 21 years old. PSG's young star, the kid who took the stage in a Champions League final, one of the brightest talents in the world. But his story has something no other player has. He made his decision not against a country, but against his own brother. The Doué family is of Ivorian origin, but raised their children in France. Désiré and his older brother Guella grew up in the same room, both products of the Rennes Academy. They sat at the same table, played on the same pitch, dreamed the same dream, then their paths split. The older brother, Guella, accepted Ivory Coast's invitation and chose his roots, wearing that shirt at the Africa Cup of Nations. The younger brother, Désiré, chose France and is going to the 2026 World Cup. 2 brothers born from the same parents are today players for 2 different continents. One returned to the heart of Africa. The other chose the strongest team in Europe. Maybe one day they'll even face each other. One in a France shirt, the other in an Ivory Coast shirt. Désiré's choice is clear. Not roots, but the summit. The next name angered not a country, but an entire nation, because he abandoned the country that raised him at the last moment. Jamal Musiala, 23 years old. Today, he's Germany's biggest star, the genius of Bayern Munich. But very few remember this. This kid was an England project from top to bottom, and Germany stole him from England's hands. Born in Stuttgart, he moved to England at 7 and came up through Chelsea's academy. England saw him as their own future. He played all the youth teams from under 15 to under 21, captained them, wore the number 10, and was a brilliant pairing with his close friend Jude Bellingham. Then Germany stepped in. According to what's been said, Coach Löw seized on his Bayern transfer and met privately with the player and his mother, giving him a direct guarantee of a starting spot, while Southgate only told him to wait his turn. Musiala decided decided in a single night he left England and chose Germany. The English press called it the robbery of the century because they had lost the kid they spent years developing just when it was time to step onto the pitch. The only difference was a coach saying, wait. The next name never denied his roots, but he remembered them only with money and gave his heart elsewhere. Ousmane Dembélé, 29 years old. Today, he's the best footballer in the world, the 2025 Ballon d'Or winner. But his connection to Africa is far deeper than you'd think. His father was born in Mali. His mother comes from a strict immigrant family of Mauritanian and Senegalese origin. As a child, Dembélé grew up playing football in the streets of Mali and Mauritania with his relatives. Africa isn't a distant story for him, it's his family. But he chose France and won the World Cup in 2018. And what came after is the interesting part. According to what's been said, he visited the poor villages in his mother's homeland of Mauritania, donated large sums, had a mosque built, and spent his holidays there. He never denied his roots. In fact, he embraced them. Yet the people of Mali and Mauritania always ask the same question. You give us your money, but why didn't you give us your talent? Because they wanted to be proud of him not through his money, but through their own shirt on the pitch. He opened his heart and his wallet to Africa, but gave his talent to France. He sang the anthems for a different flag. The next and final name was going to be the new legend of an entire nation, but he kept them waiting for years, and in the end, erased them with a single stroke. Rayan Cherki, 23 years old. Today, he's one of France's talented midfielders, playing at Manchester City. But for Algeria, he wasn't an ordinary player. He was a savior. Born in Lyon, but fully Algerian on both sides. The Algerian football world gave him a special title, the third great Algerian genius, after Zidane and Benzema. When he was just 16, Algerians were writing his name on walls, waiting for him like a legend. According to what's been said, during the 2026 qualifying process, the federation promised him he'd be the absolute leader of the team. But Cherki gave no clear answer, saying, I'll think about it a bit more. He kept Algeria waiting for years. What he was really waiting for was a call-up from France. After his strong season at Manchester City, when France opened the door, Cherki erased Algeria with a single stroke. The Algerian press didn't forgive this, targeting him directly. Just like Zidane and Benzema, he used us only as a stepping stone. Because this was a recurring nightmare, they kept losing their greatest talents to the same country, France. An entire country waited for him as the new Zidane. But he went where Zidane went, to France. The next and final name went to the same place. What's more, he's the biggest of them all. Kylian Mbappé, 28 years old, the last and biggest name on this list. Today, he's France's captain, one of the best footballers in the world, a World Cup champion. But very few know this. Mbappé almost never wore the France shirt at all. His father, Wilfried, was a Cameroonian immigrant with connections in Cameroonian football. Before Kylian had even broken through, his father made a move to take his son to the Cameroon national team. But here, things got strange. According to what's been said, an official at the Cameroon Federation demanded an under-the-table commission to include Kylian in the squad. Wilfried got angry and slammed the door. Right after, the France youth team opened its doors, and the rest is history. World champion in 2018, a legend. If that commission hadn't been demanded, Mbappé would today be in a Cameroon shirt, not a France one. And here's the striking truth. Of the 8 names in this video, 5 chose France. Mbappé, Olise, Doué, Dembélé, Cherki. France collects the talent not of a single nation, but of an entire continent. The strongest national teams are built from the children other countries lost. So which player made the right choice, and who made the biggest mistake? Drop your favorite betrayal in the comments.